Hello, my fishing friends. I hope you're all doing great and ready for another deep dive into what the waters of Ireland have in store for us. Today, we're talking about a very specific date that holds some interesting possibilities for our angling adventures, Wednesday, the 28th of January 2026. Get ready, because this day is shaping up to be a classic Irish winter fishing day, with its own unique challenges and, of course, opportunities for those who know where to look. We'll uncover why this day might just surprise you with some serious action despite the chill in the air. First up, let's talk about the kings of our freshwater systems here in Ireland, the mighty pike. In late January, my friends, these predators are still very much active, though their behavior shifts a bit. From my experience and based on current conditions, pike will be in deeper waters. We're looking at depths of 3 to 7 meters, especially around drop-offs, underwater structures and the edges of weed beds that still offer some cover. The water temperature, hovering between 5 and 10 degrees Celsius or 41 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, means they're not as hyperactive as in summer, but they're still feeding. For tactics, I'd strongly recommend slow trolling dead baits such as smelt or mackerel, presented on a simple paternoster rig or an unweighted trace to keep them just off the bottom. If you're into lures, big soft plastic shades or jerk baits retrieved slowly with long pauses can be incredibly effective. Remember, the colder water means a slower metabolism, so give them time to strike. Now, for those who love a good fight from a smaller but equally feisty predator, let's turn our attention to perch. January is actually a fantastic time to target specimen perch in Ireland. They tend to congregate in large schools in deeper areas of lakes and slower-moving rivers, often associating with structures like old bridge piers, sunken trees, or even just subtle changes in the bottom contour. Look for them in depths similar to pike, perhaps slightly shallower, at 2 to 5 meters, especially where there's a good food source. The key here is finesse. A dropshot rig with small, soft plastic lures like grubs or worms jigged gently just above the bottom can be deadly. Small vertical jigs or even ice jigs if you're on a frozen lough, though ice fishing isn't common here, so let's stick to open water, will also tempt them. Use light tackle, thin braided line, and a sensitive rod to detect those subtle winter bites. Lev's small minnows, if permitted in your area, are also a top choice for big perch. Let's break down the conditions that will influence our fishing on the 28th of January. The weather forecast for Ireland, specifically around Dublin, suggests a generally mild but unsettled day for January. We're looking at air temperatures between 7 and 8 degrees Celsius, or 44 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit. The atmospheric pressure will likely be influenced by a dominating low-pressure system, which typically brings with it unsettled conditions and a higher chance of precipitation. Indeed, light rain is expected throughout the day, with a 25 to 40% chance of showers. This kind of low-pressure system, especially if it's stable and not rapidly falling, can actually trigger feeding frenzies in predators like pike, as they sense changes in their environment. The humidity will be high, around 85%, adding to that damp, wintry feel. The wind, likely moderate and consistent with a low-pressure system, will dictate which spots offer shelter and which are too exposed. Regarding water temperature, as I mentioned, it's chilly. Expect water temperatures in our lakes and rivers to be in that 5 to 10 degrees Celsius range. This cold temperature slows down the metabolism of most fish, making them less active but often more concentrated in specific areas where food is available or where they can conserve energy. Fish will be seeking thermal comfort, which often means deeper water or areas with slight temperature variations, perhaps near inflowing warmer water or spring-fed areas. They won't chase aggressively, so slow presentations are crucial. Now for a bit of celestial wisdom. The moon phase. On the 28th of January 2026, We will be in a waxing gibbous phase. The moon will be about 10 days old and 75 to 78% illuminated. Many anglers believe that the waxing gibbous as it builds towards the full moon often correlates with increased fish activity, especially for night feeders or during periods of low light. It's often considered a favorable time as the increasing lunar pull and light can stimulate fish movement and feeding behavior. Considering all these factors, the mild rainy, low-pressure weather, the cold but stable water temperatures, and the favorable waxing gibbous moon phase, my overall assessment for fishing in Ireland on the 28th of January is good to very good for predators, particularly pike and larger perch. The consistent low pressure, while bringing rain, can often activate these species, especially if the pressure isn't dropping too quickly. They will be concentrated in deeper, structured areas, so finding those spots is key. Expect a moderate to strong bite if you present your baits and lures slowly and precisely. So, my friends, that's the forecast for Wednesday, the 28th of January. I wish you all tight lines and hope you land that fish of a lifetime. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share your own winter fishing tips in the comments below. What are your go-to baits or lures for pike and perch in January? Let me know. Until next time, tight lines and ni nid na scala. No tail, no scale.